click the links for Odysee and BitChute or to have a video made on coffee. With wrestling in the 90s, there was a big summer-winter event, and then there were 4 events a year, then pay-per-view every month. Probably because the $50 pay-per-view was just too good to pass up. My buddy would get the summer event, we'd barbecue hot dogs, and smoke a ton of weed, and for some reason eat sheet cake. As you can tell, his cooking skills were pretty basic. So wrestling kind of got watered down, but the events we're making, where there was just cash cows, and they needed the infusion of cash, so what are you going to do? So I was flipping through these comics, and I definitely wasn't sailing the high seas for them. I pay for everything. I read the Wonder Woman anthology, #1, garbage. Then I read Wonder Woman #1 of some stupid new series. It was embarrassingly bad. Then I came across this Infinite Frontier, and I clicked because I assumed it would be woke because it had a dark Superman on the cover. And when I call them purse puppies, I don't mean to insult somebody's favorite character, though I don't know how you could find any of these characters your favorite unless you were wearing a helmet full time. But I mean, that's how SJWs treat any Nordic looking character, but worse, more like a purse robot that doesn't have a full set of emotions. And when they don't need it, they just kind of turn it off, store it in the closet until they need it. Yeah, this is going to lead into this. It'll make sense, maybe. So this is Infinite Frontier is one of 6 series. In the old days of comics, some guy would invent a character and make a comic for as long as it would sell. Ride the train until the wheels fall off. So you were reading characters across decades, across different artists, writers, letters. Does anyone care about letters? Sorry, Eric Weathers. He's actually really, really talented. He's got a YouTube channel. Very soft-spoken, calm guy, but a very talented artist. But then, making fun of letters is like, oh, you play drums, huh? Oh, you play bass. Okay, great. Get in the back of the stage, friends. Comics got woke, and I hope there's no musicians or letters listening to this. There is no putting that genie back in the bottle. And as a consequence, the #1 issues were a rare item and valuable sometimes, or just valuable because you wanted them, and it was paper. And it's like, why is the old car valuable? Like a old Ford Pinto is a collector's item now. Why? Because they're not making it anymore. But since you get these insane woke women and soy boys, and when I say soy boys, if you look at their picture, you go, "Oh yeah, that's what I expected to see." Just a someone who needs to probably dial back the daily intake of calories. So you're eating fried chicken on a live stream at midnight. So 3 pieces of fried chicken, that's 2,000 calories. Did you miss meals all day? No, I had breakfast, lunch, dinner. The fried chicken's just a snack. That's not a snack. That's a full meal. That's like a meal and a half, maybe 2 meals. Okay, so all of this, all of a sudden stuff stopped selling. It was getting canceled for low sales, and then it would get rebooted with another insane feminist jerk-off fantasy. So comics started to get into this weird situation where they knew that these SJWs were horrible writers, but they also knew that there's a big boost with the #1s, then there's a fall off. And if you go look up the history of Captain Marvel, America Chavez, Ms. Marvel, even Kim and Kim was done 3 times by Mags. The comics will sell such embarrassingly low numbers that it's obvious that someone like Gail Simone, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and the rest are just horrible failures who are only there because they have a special social media following. So, Ms. Marvel is on issue 18, and Captain Marvel is on 28. And no, those aren't coming out every 5 years. But because they're written by insane people. They have the option of just rebooting the comic every few years, or trying to find a writer who doesn't hate blonde men and actually sell a story. They're not going to give up propaganda, but what they will do is start series that are 6 to 8 issues long. So it's sort of a self-cancellation. They get the boost from the #1 issue, then when the anti-white stuff is just intolerable. And I know that's kind of an awkward phrase, but I don't know what else to call it. It's what you see. It's, as I showed you in a couple of these episodes, that I didn't have to look for these. These are, go scroll through, go pick 100 comics written in the past, whatever, couple of years, you're gonna immediately know what I'm talking about. It's insane. So when they do this anti-blonde stuff, by issue 3, it's like kind of hard to take. But they hope the buyer is at least going to finish the collection and buy all 6 issues, which looks like a sign of weakness to me. And if it was selling great and finding an audience, you'd want to keep it going, or you'd want to, repeat the success. But it just doesn't. It just, you get that first issue sales for Soy Boys collectors, and they go, I just want all 8 issues. Okay, well, you're just enabling bad behavior. And sometimes they'll charge more at the end. It's like, I guess once you've got a fish on the line, you just keep fishing. Of course, you could just stop with the hatred against the beautiful people of the light, the people of Uggs and Starbucks and Volvos, and just not be a bitter soy boy little bitch. But as Cornelius Ryan says, that is a bridge too far, which is a kick-ass book. And a good movie, but kind of like a darker movie than a book. Eventually, I suspect that people will stop caring about these special events, in quotes, and just wait for it to be concluded so they can get the reviews and check out the reviews first. It's like, that's something you learn about movies when you're very, very young. Oh, hey, look, POC is going to have to discipline the wild POLs. Great. Where's I going with this? Oh, yeah, you learn as a kid when you're watching movies is always wait for the reviews. Read those reviews for anything. And if it's like they're all dog feathers, then it's going to be a bad movie. There's no way around that. And this nowadays, reviews are a little bit different. So now I would say, nowadays, read the audience scores, not the professional scores. Because back in the day, if newspapers came out and you checked the paper, things were different. It was a little bit more balanced. And to be fair, some of these are dog poop stories from the first cover on the first. They're taking power and responsibility to a global level. Okay. Some of these are bad right from the start. First page of the first cover, every page following is just dog feathers. Like Star Wars Adventure, that was the thing I was leading up to. First page sucks, then every page just continues to just suck. It's like a cute dog looking at you. He's looking you in the eye, and he's pooping. It's like, you like that? Now clean it up, poop bitch. In Star Wars, Adventures issues 1 to 3 are just standard bad Disney-level silliness, as if it was written for a very narrow window of kids, like black girls ages 8 to 11 who hate comics. But they're in issue 4, they get into this Bolshevik propaganda. You get 2 people of different origins, one blonde, blue-eyed, of course, one dark-eyed, and they're on a romance. That kills the verisimilitude of the story. That's an ultra-rare occurrence on Earth, though oddly enough, that mixture has a very high success rate. It's rare, but it's like they decided, like, okay, if we're going to do this, like, we're definitely committed. Yet mixing shows up in comics all the time. It doesn't make sense. If dark and fair people were mixing was so common, there'd be no more blonde or blue-eyed people. 100% of the population would be dark. That's how genetics work. But I mean, it's not an issue of like the cultural significance of that. I'm talking about like from a storytelling logic issue. It's like, you're catching all these people right at the beginning of this mixing, and there's no cultural friction. That doesn't make sense. It's like Stephen King's book converted into a movie. The Dark Tower did that, and it immediately takes you out of the story. I mean, if you're an adult, you look at this, go, wait, there's some logic gaps here. It's not making sense. And then the reader sees that, and it's like, oh, this is just propaganda. Why would I want to watch 2 people abandon their heritage and create something new? The offspring is going to belong to no tribe. It's kind of nothing. It's rootless. There's like, all the tradition is just abandoned. It takes you out of the story because it's like, this is kind of a tragedy. This is like something from war-torn cultures might do to survive, but it's like kind of a last-ditch survival effort. And it lets us know that an SJW wrote it, because in the real world, blonde-haired, blue-eyed types want to have kids that look like them. They're looking for blonde-haired, blue-eyed types. Everyone does that. But it's not politically correct to say that, which the writer knows, so that's why they include the mixing. They're thinking, oh, nobody will ever complain about it, because to do so is just phobic. Kiss my ass. Then in issue 5, you get a scene where the POC hero has to save another POC from an evil, blonde, blue-eyed guy out of Nordic Central Casting. So I have a question. Why are all the bullies always blonde, blue-eyed? Why not dark hair and dark-eyed? Representation doesn't seem to matter when choosing antagonists. Obviously, the reader looks around at the world and sees that something is wrong with this narrative, because blonde people are awesome, like so awesome that everyone will travel great distances to be around them. Then the reader looks at the comic and the stories don't make sense. It's blonde man attacking POCs, which begs the question, if they don't get along, why are they together? You're saying the Empire is so evil, but it has integrated troop training? That doesn't make any sense, you effing dumb person. It is shocking in its stupidity. It's just bad writing, and you knew it when you wrote it, as did the editors. But why'd you include it? Because you're a bunch of Bolsheviks who eventually will starve 100 million people to death. What exaggeration, what gross exaggeration, how dare you say that? Has it happened before? Because if it's happened before, it can happen again. The universe is here, thus the universe can be here. It becomes obvious to the reader that you included POCs and blondes just so you could make blonde man the hated character, which is a common theme in comics, where you see, how should I say this, blondes in statistically improbable events. My point was, issues 1 to 3 were normal Star Wars fare, but after the kids reading it, they waited until issues 4 and 5 to add in the Bolshevik anti-white hatred. Standard bad stories are one thing, but bad and Marxist propaganda is something else, especially when it's made for kids. Gotta brainwash the kids into blonde hatred early, otherwise they may think that Nordic and Aryan people are real live human beings. We can't have them thinking that. You must know that they're Untermensch. So it's a long intro to explain that yes, this Infinite Frontier story was a lot of fun, but I guarantee they will destroy it. I assumed it would be cringe from the start because you had Purse Puppy Superman, but the cringe was dialed back for issues 1, except that one of the characters was telling his son how gay he is. Your dad loves the cock. He's just insatiable for semen. That's great, Dad. Thanks for sharing something so disgusting. This was cool. That was very cool. And they have him smoking a cigarette, which I don't know these characters because, DC or whatever, other than Batman, it doesn't kind of exist. But they have him smoking a cigarette. They don't really show it, but they show him smoking on something. It's a trip because you don't really see that. It's like that lends a little something cool, verisimilitude, believability of the story. Though, I mean, I don't know how you suck on a cigarette without lips, but whatever. But, he's already dead. Like, he probably doesn't have lungs. It's just a whole different vibe. I also want to say that they presented this character as, it's a silly character, Captain Carrot, obvious, but it took itself seriously inside the story. It's like Scooby-Doo did a comic of, it was like a Scooby-Doo adventure. It went for like a dozen issues, and it was like an updated serious adventure of them solving crimes. It was cool as hell. And I remember, not Hanna-Barbera, but Looney Tunes did comic crossovers with like DC characters. And that was a trip. You had, who's the guy with the double barrel running around chasing the rabbit? He was teamed up with Batman or something. It's like every once in a while they do these crossovers with silly characters, but they take them serious, and it's like, that's cool. This was a trip because for once you had a blonde guy who was empathizing with this chick, and they were getting along, and it wasn't Blonde Man bad, it wasn't POC is a super PhD genius in every regard, so that was kind of weird to see that whole interaction. Then later on they did have a blonde guy who was of course bad because that's what they do. Oh, anyway, this is DC Pride, where you've got an obese breastless lesbian who's taken a little growth hormone and DECA. I guess this character, I was going to say it's another breastless lesbian, but 2 vertical lines. That might be a trans character. I'm not sure. Okay, you drew her cute. You drew her cute. This guy loves the semen. This guy loves semen too. Loves the cock, insatiable for it. Kind of a breastless lesbian. Again, insatiable for cock. Just another breastless lesbian and a breastless lesbian. DC corporations don't care about you. Why would you think they care about you? That's insane. And some people are catching on. Like you see, oh, Coca-Cola, Pride. Oh, really? What's your Middle Eastern policy? Oh, well, we can't put a rainbow in the Middle East because no. So you're saying you stand up for pride when there's no consequences, when there's no stakes whatsoever. That makes you just a complete pussy. It's like some gay people are catching on. They're like, get out of here with this. Just get out of here with this bullshit. You don't give a damn about gay people, or you don't give a damn about anybody, but just you're a bunch of coke sniffing, panty eating, Epstein Weinstein level perverts. You don't care about anybody. Like other people, like sociopaths, other people aren't really real to them. That's why they can't empathize with other people. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Oh my God, 16 minutes. Holy shit. I'll see you guys next episode.